Ian, first of all, set the stage for us. Jury selection has started in San Diego. What's next?
That's right. Yeah, we might even get the opening statements as early as today. But, you know, the stage is, this is the main event. This is kind of what we've been waiting for a couple of years. As you said, Qualcomm will find out whether it can force Apple basically to do what it said it should have done, which is get paid, and we're talking $7 billion, probably more at this point. On the flip side of this, we're going to have a jury decide whether Apple is right, whether Qualcomm has been naughty, basically, whether they've been illegally forcing people to pay these inflated licensing fees.
Now, Matt, you know, we've seen Apple have the upper hand, we've seen Qualcomm have the upper hand, we've seen different courts around the world rule in the other's favor. So who has the upper hand now?
You know, when you get to a trial like this, it's really asking who has the upper hand in a coin flip, especially when you're going to a jury about patent licensing, antitrust questions. You know, it's a 5-week jury trial on some things that can be pretty dry, frankly. So in the overall dispute, I tend to think that Qualcomm has a slight upper hand, but Apple has some strong arguments. Qualcomm is facing a lot of pressure, both from regulators, from kind of the licensing drought that they've been going through for the past couple of years. So the overall dispute has certainly taken a toll on Qualcomm's business, but you know, I think that the licensing business will ultimately prevail. It's just a question of when.
Now, what's significant about this particular trial, Ian, is that we're expecting both Apple CEO Tim Cook and Qualcomm CEO Steve Mollenkopf to testify, right?
Right.
So how do we expect them to represent this in a public setting?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's very, as Matt said, this is in front of a jury, which takes it into a different level. Possibly there's going to be more theatrics. Possibly there's going to be like, oh, you know, this is the damage that's been done to us, an appeal to, you know, the sympathy vote, if you like, of the jury, in what is very a dry topic. But ultimately, these are two very rich companies. You know, one is obviously richer than the other, but they still, you know, it's not going to bankrupt either one of them. So ultimately, the arguments they're going to have to make are really going to have to boil down to how palatable they can make technical, legal, and technology arguments accessible to average people. So,
Matt, I mean, Qualcomm is based in San Diego, but Apple is the biggest company in the world, and Tim Cook is a very recognizable person. I mean, how do we expect that to sway the jury?
Yeah, you know, I mean, Qualcomm's definitely kind of a hometown hero, with the stadium being named after Qualcomm. It was interesting.
They changed the name now.
Yeah, they've changed the name now, but there's still some goodwill. It was interesting when you were, you know, kind of following questions that they were asking the potential jurors. There's, you know, some people who love Apple and own a bunch of their stocks. Some people have friends who've worked at Qualcomm and appreciate the technology. It's a balance. I think that, you know, Qualcomm is definitely going to try to take advantage of that hometown goodwill and illustrate themselves as an innovator that deserves to be paid. I mean, you know, at this point we're talking, you know, less than $10 per iPhone. So when you're thinking about the era of the $1,000 iPhone, it doesn't seem that unreasonable, you know, to a juror, I don't think.
So I sat down with Steve Mollenkopf at the end of last year, and he said something that surprised me, which was that he still expects to work with Apple after this. Take a listen to what he told me then.
I think there's probably no better opportunity and partner for Qualcomm than to work with Apple. It makes sense that the technology leader in mobile should be partnered with the product leader in mobile. And those things tend to work out. But the way that we think about the business is eventually you get the disputes figured out and you move on into a different period. And, you know, I hope to be in that period according to the schedule we've already laid out.
Ian, what are the chances of these two companies working together after this? Bitterness.
You'd be surprised. I mean, so many times we see these knockdown, drag-out fights, Apple and Samsung, for example, and then all of a sudden you find Samsung parts in an iPhone. So, particularly in this case, these are two companies which kind of really need each other. What Qualcomm is really good at is what Apple will, you know, maybe next year, maybe the year after need if its other suppliers can't close that gap with Qualcomm. That's part of what's going on here. Is
this showdown preventing Apple from moving to 5G because Qualcomm has the licensing, has the technology for 5G that Apple will need if it wants to move to 5G?
Yeah, you know, Qualcomm is by and far the leader in terms of developing 5G-enabled chips in the U.S. You know, Huawei is kind of the other counterpart. And from a global perspective, you know, there was the drama about the potential Broadcom takeover and protection of Qualcomm over the concern that they're in the lead of research and development in this space. So is it actually slowing implementation of 5G? I think if you asked a network person, person that question. They would say, look, everything that's 5G now is kind of a false 5G, so we maybe have a generation or two of iPhone before it really would be impactful. So, you know, I would give it maybe another year or two, and if the dispute moves on, then that might be the problem.
I mean, it's a bet that Apple have made before, and successfully. They were slow to 3G, they were slow to 4G, but it didn't matter because the networks didn't come in quickly enough for the other companies to cause them pain. This is arguably the bet they're making this time as well.